Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live cast. First of all, a bit of an apology. I had a live cast scheduled for a few days ago. Unfortunately, things overtook it, and I wasn't able to basically do the live cast and give you an update on what's going on. So, what's going on? Well, basically, I've had to write some notes because there's been a lot happening over the last few days. Particularly when it comes to the Queen Elizabeth Hive and the status. Now, as you're aware from previous videos, I've been battling with Varroa. It's been a significant problem, but I can report at this stage I have a zero count at the moment. I also am aware that the bees are revving themselves up for the spring season approaching, and they're brooding, definitely. Pollen's going into the hive, so I can gather from that it's queen right, and it's good to go. One thing I have to watch, however, is the early part of the spring when swarm season arrives. So there's some prep I've done for that. I'm ready to deal with any eventualities when it comes to swarming, and I'm also going to carry in my car will be a swarm kit. So I'll have a Nucleus in there, some odds and sods, and I'll carry my bee suit because I've advertised locally through the Facebook page and our local authorities. Let's try and register with them to collect any swarms that come up. So that's the idea. So let me see. Yes, as far as the Varroa is concerned, I'm using currently Randy Oliver's model for Varroa in terms of controlling that. Although it is quite a comprehensive program, and it's also quite complex, so it's going to take a little bit more reading to fully understand exactly what the impact is. For the layman like myself, and certainly just approaching my second season, it does seem complex, but I've come up with something, and I'm using part of Randy Oliver's model. And that's basically to do with efficacy of treatment and also recording it on the graph. So my count was 50. I'm now at 0. So it's taken approximately, I would say, over a month to get them down to that sort of level prior to the season commencing. So that's where we are, and that's the problems that I was facing. Okay, welcome, DC. It's good to hear from you again. How are you doing? Hopefully everything's going well for you as well. I see your new bee yard is taking shape, which is pretty good stuff. So you're actually progressing further than I am. I'm trying to do my off-site apiary stuff, but things are getting in the way. So yeah, welcome anybody. So hopefully you can hear me okay, and everything's going well. All right, so what else have we got? Let me see. Okay, so with reference to swarms, and I mentioned about the swarm kit, and I'll be having that in the car. So I'm on a short ring notice. So from DC, doing okay. Winter hasn't been fun, but getting ready for spring. For sure. This winter has been different, 100%. In so much as how the bees are acting and how warm it's been, and we haven't really had any cold snaps, which will sort of bring things onto a level keel. But yeah, winter has been unusual for sure. There's another thank you I want to push out is to a chap called Derek Linton. Now Derek is become known, or we've managed to connect with each other in so much he's a local beekeeper as well, and he's pretty much where I am in terms of experience and the amount of colonies that he's got. So it's really good to get that because it means that we can bounce off of each other. As I say, every day is a school day, and you always learn from other folk. So I'm glad he's on board because, as I say, we can share some of the trials and tribulations and bounce ideas off of each other. So that's the idea. So thanks, Derek. And he has been courteous enough as well to give me some bits and pieces, some new smoker fuel and all this sort of stuff. Uh, let's see, from DC again, I met another local beekeeper that's about my size, my same size, age also. Okay, cool. It's good to get when you get other people on board. At least then, like I said, you can share the ideas, and that's the whole point. So, yeah. All right. So moving on slightly. Let's see. Well, we're up to, let me see, 267 subscribers. I was hoping for more by the end of the year, but hey ho, that's a good following we have so far. I'm hoping you're enjoying what I'm doing. And I'm trying to gain enough experience that I'm not second guessing all the time. Because the first year was, oh man, the amount of second guessing was unbelievable. And they certainly gave me a good run. And I think this year is going to be no exception. Yeah, they're totally unpredictable for sure. So what I'm aiming to do is hopefully by maybe the end of this season, maybe get up to 400 subscribers or thereabouts. That's the plan. Not that it matters so much about subscribers. It's just what I want is to make sure that I can get across as a new beekeeper to all of this stuff. That if some of my ideas fit them, then that's great. And I've achieved my aim. That's really what we're talking about here. Other stuff, yeah, I've got my treatment-free project, which is yet to get off the ground. As I said to you in the past, it's quite contentious. And the only way really I can actually get to see their point of view is not by so much reading what other people say and what is broadcasted, but it's to do it myself. Run a treatment-free hive. And again, as before, I'm going to document pretty much every time I go into the hive up until a time that one is the hive survives, and from that I might get a good strain that's a lot better or have a lot better resistance to Varroa, because it seems to be most of my time is taken up with Varroa. And what a pest it is. They're canny, they're really difficult to deal with at times, and you kind of wonder, is it the right treatment? And I say that because the treatment I put in initially, which was Apivar, let me see, when did I put that on? Apivar strips went on the 30th of November last year, and we had a significant drop of mites. I mean, a huge amount of mites. There was that many, I just couldn't count them, or it would take a long time to count them. So that was on the 30th of November 22. So from that big drop, I left it approximately, I would say 25 days, maybe even more actually. And then in January, the early part of January, I had to do another OAV treatment due to the huge amount of mites again. And again, that comes back to me thinking about the mild winter, and they've just continued brooding throughout the whole time and not had a break whatsoever. So with 50 plus mites, I've had to give these treatments, and another one was on the 15th of January, which was 6 grams of oxalic acid, which I put into the hive. Where did I get 6 from? Well, I thought if I'm going to really knock these down big time, I need to be a little bit overzealous on the oxalic acid. So I've done that, and the results have paid off so far. I mean, that's not to say within the next few weeks, leading up to middle of March, that things don't increase again on Varroa levels. So yeah, Varroa, great stuff. Something I've got to deal with. Hey, what else? Let's see now. Yes, I got a message the other day, which was very interesting. There were some storm damage woodland close to me, and in one of those fallen trees was actually a colony. So I contacted the number that was annotated on Facebook and spoke to the chap out there. And unfortunately, another beekeeper has already got in there in terms of there was a hive situated close to the fallen tree. There was a threat that if it wasn't collected, the colony, that is, they would be destroyed, which is a shame. I don't like to see that, and I would do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen, and I'm happy to go out and collect them. It doesn't matter where it is within my county, although the county's quite big, I'm willing to travel for that reason. So, yeah, collecting swarms is going to be difficult this year because I'm not actually putting swarm traps out. Because one, I haven't got time, and secondly, it's too much logistically in terms of equipment checking the swarm traps, because I'd have to put them quite a ways out from where I live, which means more logistics, of course. So yeah, the fallen tree from high winds, I didn't get a look in there. However, I'm still looking at, there is a feral colony in a building in the next village along from me, which I've got a close eye on. I'm not going to do anything with them now or even approach them because of it's too cold, especially here. So I'm going to hang off until probably maybe the end of March, beginning of April, and then I might go down again and have a wee looky see. And hopefully at some time, maybe I can collect them, maybe, depending how difficult they are to extract. So what else do we have? Let me see. Right, my off-site apiaries. Again, they're not gaining much momentum either. I'm struggling with that. I need to visit people because I work probably about 53 miles away. By the time I get back, it's dark. There's very little light remaining, so my options are limited in terms of me getting things sorted out. But the nights are pulling out, which is good. And I've noticed, which is great, spring is definitely approaching in so much as I've seen lots of wildflowers starting to poke their heads up. So that's a good sign. So all I'm waiting for now is the temperatures to come up so that we can get in there and then start the season proper. So, yeah. What else have we got? Let me see. Yep, there was one thing I didn't forget to mention is the 5th of February was another administration of OEV, 6 grams, which we smashed the hive with. So that's pretty good and wiping out the remaining Varroa. All right. So treatments for next year. Wow. Apivar. I think I'm going to come away from Apivar and try something different. I've seen, at the moment, I'm watching an experiment done by Cayman Reynolds, who's doing the OAV sponges. Now, I don't know what the legalities of that are in the UK. I know in United States some of it's outlawed and it's you have to get special dispensation to actually adopt that method. So for me, it needs a bit more research in terms of how our government looks at it in terms of Varroa treatment. Now I know for us, Apibioxol is the only one we can use in this country. How it's administered, i.e. through Randy Oliver's idea of sponges, I don't know how that will sit. Again, it's something I have to look into. So anyway, this is a short live cast. It was just really to update you in terms of what my thoughts are, where we are. All I can say is that we're in good shape and we're ready for the next season. So for me, I'm going to do a slightly different approach in terms of honey product. So I'm looking at cut comb, and I have these cut comb sections, which I'll give you a heads up for just before I use them this season, and I'll talk you through those. So for me, it's a lot more work, more time consuming, However, you know, it's worth it in the end if you can produce a good standard of honey. And let's face it, cut comb is what folk here certainly want to have. So that's it. Right, so that's me finished. Hopefully you enjoyed this short burst and an update as far as the Queen Elizabeth Hive. We have got a new nucleus coming in April, which will be the start of my second hive. And then from there, I'm going to try next year is some queen rearing, which is going to send us on a bigger adventure trying to get our heads around that. So there are publications available which we're using. Let me see. You've seen these before. This is the first one, which is practical small scale queen rearing using the Miller method, written by Lympha Davis, master beekeeper. There you go. That's the first one. So that's the Miller method. Next one. Let's see. This one's Field Notes on Queen Rearing by Oliver S. Field. There you go. So these were all got from Northern Bee Books, and we're going to use these as information, or at least some prompts, to ensure we're going the right direction on queen rearing. So that's it, and I'm definitely off this time. So thanks for looking in. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. I've noticed that a lot of people that look at it are still not subscribed, so please do, and I will see you on the next video. Cheerio now.